The key in the jewelry box. He opened the velvet-lined jewelry box to find a key, small, golden, and engraved with his name. Tyler stared at it like it might vanish. Just 6 days ago, his 71-year-old wife had died in her sleep. Peacefully, this doctors had said. Natural causes, that should have been the end of it. But this changed everything. The key hadn't been there when he first arrived in her sprawling, silent house by the cliffs. He would have seen it. He was sure. But tonight, after the quiet memorial where only 2 people showed up, one of them was the lawyer, Tyler had come back alone, opened her nightstand drawer to look for sleeping pills, and there it was, nestled under a few monogrammed handkerchiefs, the kind no one used anymore. He lifted the key with trembling fingers. It was heavier than it looked. A small inscription on the back made his stomach tighten. To TL, when it's time. He looked around the darkened bedroom. Her bedroom, not his. The thick velvet curtains were still drawn. Dust floated in the air. Her faint lavender perfume still lingered on the pillows. And now, standing in the middle of it all, Tyler felt the eerie silence creep under his skin. Something was wrong. Dead people don't leave things behind dated after their death. And definitely not keys engraved with names. They shouldn't have known this quickly. He pulled out his phone. The lock screen showed 1:14 a.m. A text buzzed in just then from an unknown number. He swiped it open. "You weren't supposed to find that yet." Tyler dropped the key. His throat dried up. His mind raced. Who knew? Who was watching? He bent quickly, picked up the key, and walked to the bedroom door. He peered out into the hallway. Empty. Shadows hugged the corners. The old house creaked the way old houses do. But tonight each sound felt deliberate, like someone was listening back. His fingers hovered over his phone again. He thought of calling someone, anyone. But who would understand? He couldn't call his mom. She didn't even know he'd married an old woman for money. She thought he was studying abroad on a scholarship. His roommate would laugh or think he'd finally cracked. Malik? Maybe. But Malik had always warned him this would backfire. He stared at the message again. But it was gone. No trace of it. No number. No log. Hell no, Tyler whispered to himself. He wasn't about to lose it. He was already living in a mansion he didn't belong in, legally married to a woman he barely knew, who now lay cold in the ground. And now, random messages and hidden keys. This was not what he signed up for. He turned the jewelry box upside down. A folded paper fell out. It was a receipt, yellowed, crisp, for a storage unit. And the kicker, it was dated 2 days after she died. Tyler stared at it in disbelief. The name on the top, Clara M. Linwood, her full name, her signature at the bottom. He flipped it over. A unit number, directions, paid in cash. "No way," he said aloud. "This is fake. This is—" The house creaked again. He froze. The front door was locked. He'd checked it himself, but suddenly the feeling of being alone evaporated. He grabbed his coat, stuffed the key and paper into his pocket, and walked straight out the back door. Outside, the cold wind slapped him awake. It was the kind of wind that peeled thoughts out of your head. The sky was cloudy, the moon tucked behind a sheet of gray. He walked fast to the bus stop 2 blocks down. He didn't care that it was nearly 2 a.m. He had to see that storage unit. Something wasn't adding up. She hadn't even wanted a honeymoon. Said she was too old for travel. That all she needed was peace, that she was just tired of being alone. And Tyler, fresh off 2 student loan rejections and with $86.13 in his bank account, didn't argue. She paid his tuition up front, wired $5,000 a month into his account for living costs, bought him a suit. He showed up, smiled for the court clerk, and signed the paper. He hadn't even kissed her. Not really. At the time, he told himself it wasn't that different from an arranged marriage, only with clearer terms. But now, he pulled the receipt out, again on the bus. The address was just outside town, near the hills, private. No security code, just a key. It was 2:47 a.m. when he arrived. A single flickering light buzzed over the entrance. The guy at the counter was dozing off behind glass. Unit 117, Tyler said, sliding the receipt through. The man squinted. You sure about this? Tyler nodded. You got the key? He held it up. The man glanced once, then hit a button. Row 3, all the way down. You've got 15 minutes. Why? The guy didn't answer. Tyler walked fast. Each step echoed, louder than it should have. The place was silent except for the low hum of distant generators. He found Unit 117, took a breath, inserted the key. It turned with a soft click. He lifted the steel door. Dust spilled out. The inside was almost empty, except for two things: a large black steamer trunk with brass edges, and a folded wheelchair. Propped against the back wall, Tyler stepped in. The trunk looked ancient, scratches along the sides, leather handles, the kind of thing people used to travel across oceans with. He crouched, fingered the latch, clicked it open. Don't! Tyler froze. That voice didn't come from memory. He turned slowly. A man stood at the unit entrance, black turtleneck, black gloves. Face calm, almost too calm. Who are you? Tyler asked, standing up. I'm someone who's trying to save your life. By stalking me. You shouldn't have found the key. Tyler's chest tightened. You sent the message? The man didn't answer. What's in the trunk? Tyler demanded. That's not for you to open. She left it to me. No, the man said. She left it for protection. You were never supposed to get involved. Tyler felt anger spike in his chest. Involved in what? I was her husband. The man took a step forward. You were her cover. Tyler flinched. What? The man's voice dropped. She knew they were coming for her. She needed someone young, clean, off the radar. You fit the profile. This is insane, Tyler whispered. Who are they? The man didn't blink. You should leave now. Walk away. Forget you ever found that key. Tyler glanced at the trunk again. I can't. Then you won't survive this. The man reached into his coat. Tyler bolted. He didn't wait to see what the man pulled. Out. He just ran, heart slamming in his chest, feet thudding against concrete. He didn't stop until he was out the gate and halfway down the road, lungs burning, eyes wide with panic. By the time he reached the bus stop again, he was soaked with sweat. He looked back. No one. Not yet. He pulled out his phone. 5 new messages, all from the same blocked number. You opened the door. You can't unknow it now. They'll be watching. Don't go home. Check the back of the receipt. Now. With trembling hands, he flipped the paper over. In small handwriting, so faded it was almost invisible. If anything happens to me. Don't trust the lawyer. Tyler stared at it, frozen. The lawyer. The same man who'd smiled warmly during the reading. The same man who said she had no surviving family, no debts, no secrets. The man who said Tyler would inherit everything after 30 days, as long as no one contested the will. But why would she write that? Why warn him against someone she trusted enough to handle her estate? Unless... He looked at the messages again, then back at the dark road stretching ahead of him. He wasn't just some broke student anymore. He was something else now. A target. The lawyer's smile wasn't real. Tyler hadn't slept. By the time the sun rose over the cliffs behind Clara's mansion, he was still sitting at the corner bus shelter, stiff with fear. His phone lay in his lap, screen dark, battery dead. But those 5 messages still burned in his memory. You opened the door. You can't unknow it now. They'll be watching. Don't go home. Check the back of the receipt. Now. And that final line scrawled in fading ink on the back of the receipt. Don't. Trust the lawyer. Tyler kept replaying it. Again and again. The lawyer. Mr. Delton Shaw. 60-something polished suit, silver hair slicked back, the kind of man who made death sound tidy and paperwork sound like compassion. He'd smiled gently, shaken Tyler's hand, told him how Clara was a unique soul, and she always knew what she wanted. Now Tyler wondered if what Clara wanted was for someone to not trust that man. At 9:03 a.m., Tyler walked into the lawyer's downtown office with a heart full of steel and hands full of lies. The receptionist looked up from her monitor. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Tyler said, trying to sound calm, "but Mr. Shaw told me I could stop by if I had questions. It's urgent." She nodded politely, tapping into her keyboard. "One moment." Minutes later, the door to the inner office opened, and there he was, Mr. Shaw, dapper and composed, his smile just as polished as before. Only now Tyler noticed something else in it, something hidden. "Mr. Linwood," Shaw said, extending his hand. "So good to see you again. Come in." Tyler shook it briefly. The grip was dry, calculated. They entered the room. Mahogany desk, leather chairs, rows of locked filing cabinets. Shaw gestured to a seat. Tyler didn't sit. "I found something," he said. "Oh?" Shaw walked to the espresso machine near the window, unbothered. "You know, you really should be resting. Grief comes in strange waves." Tyler's jaw clenched. "You didn't tell me she rented a storage unit 2 days after her death." Shaw paused, just a flicker, barely a breath. Then, "That's impossible." "I saw the receipt, her name, her signature, paid in cash." "That is impossible," Shaw said again, slower this time. "Miss Clara Linwood was already deceased on that date. I handled the death certificate myself. Then how do you explain the key I found?" Shaw finally turned. His face was unreadable now. "What key?" Tyler pulled it from his pocket, placed it on the desk. Shaw didn't even blink. "Never seen it before." "She left it for me," Tyler said, voice rising slightly. "It was hidden, along with a note telling me not to trust you." A long pause stretched between them. Shaw walked to his chair and sat slowly. "Well then," he said with unsettling, "you're calm." "That does complicate things." Tyler narrowed his eyes. "You're not surprised." Shaw smiled, thin and cold. "I don't rattle easily. Clara was unpredictable." "What was she hiding?" Shaw folded his hands. "Tyler, let's be honest. You married her for the money. You didn't ask questions then. Why now?" Tyler flinched. "I didn't think it would matter, but clearly it does." A low chuckle slipped from Shaw's lips. "She picked you for a reason. Young, broke, desperate, easily shaped, but maybe she underestimated you." Tyler stared at him. "Who are you really?" Shaw tilted his head. "Someone who's protected Clara's legacy for 30 years, and someone who's very good at keeping inconvenient people quiet." Tyler froze. The words hung heavy in the air. Then the lawyer stood. "I'm going to give you some advice, Tyler," he said, smoothing his jacket. "Walk away, take the inheritance, disappear, live a very comfortable, silent life." Tyler stepped back. "What happens if I don't?" Shaw's eyes turned to ice. "Then you'll learn how short a comfortable life can be." Tyler left without another word. Outside, the cold wind felt sharper, like it had teeth. He needed help, real help. Someone who didn't wear suits or smile too much. He took out the only name that came to mind, Malik. They hadn't spoken in weeks, not since the wedding. Tyler hadn't even told him the full truth, only that he'd found a way to pay off his tuition. Malik had warned him, called it shady, said nothing came free. Now Tyler was ready to listen. He caught a cab to Malik's apartment on the north side, knocked 3 times. The door opened an inch. Then Malik swung it wide. "Tyler," he blinked. "Dude, you look like hell." "I think someone's trying to kill me," Tyler said. Malik pulled him in without another word. Over 2 cups of reheated coffee and a plate of instant noodles, Tyler told him everything. Clara, the money, the death, the key, the storage unit, the messages, the man in black, and finally, the lawyer's threat. Malik listened without interrupting. When Tyler finished, he leaned back and let out a long breath. "Okay," Malik said slowly. Either you're losing your damn mind, or you just stepped into some Jason Bourne level. Crap. I'm not crazy. I believe you, Malik said, which is worse. Tyler rubbed his eyes. What do I do? We figure out what's in that trunk. Whatever Clara left you, it's big. Big enough to make a lawyer threaten you and a stalker pull a weapon. I never even got to open it. Then we go back. Tyler's eyes widened. Now? No! Not like this, Malik said. We go tomorrow. Daylight. And we're not. Walking in blind, he reached into a drawer and pulled out an old DSLR camera. We're filming everything. We record proof. If they're watching you, they're not watching me. We get in, get out, and then we figure out what to do with it. Tyler hesitated. You really believe me? Malik gave him a look. Dude, I've seen your panic. I've seen you broke, high, drunk and heartbroken, but I've never seen you scared. Until now. Tyler nodded, eyes suddenly stinging. Thanks. Man, don't thank me yet, Malik muttered. Let's just survive tomorrow. They crashed on the floor in sleeping bags, phones off, windows locked. Still, sleep came in fragments. Every sound outside made Tyler jump. He dreamed of Clara's pale face, of her whispering something he couldn't hear, of the man in black pulling a zipper closed over a body that looked like his. Morning couldn't come fast enough. By 9 a.m., they were on the road. Malik drove. Tyler sat with the camera in his lap, the key gripped tight in one hand. The drive was tense, quiet. When they reached the storage facility, the same clerk was there, half asleep again. Unit 117, Malik said. The clerk squinted. Didn't someone come for that last night? Malik kept his voice even. We're authorized. Just need to get a few things. The man buzzed them through. They walked the rows. At Unit 117, Tyler paused. Ready? Malik asked. No, Tyler whispered. But let's do it. He inserted the key. The lock clicked. They lifted the door. The trunk was still there, but the wheelchair was gone. Malik raised the camera and hit record. Tyler knelt. His hands trembled on the latch. He opened it. Inside, wrapped in layers of cloth, was a box, black locked. No latch. Just a fingerprint scanner and a blinking red light. What the hell? Malik murmured. There was also a thick folder bound in faded leather. Tyler pulled it out. Inside were documents, hundreds, photos, bank slips, handwritten letters. At the top was a certificate. Tyler read it aloud. Clara Marie Linwood. Subject: AD 17 Zeta. Witness relocation status. Level 5. Permanent seal. Malik's mouth fell open. Bro, she was in witness protection. Tyler flipped the page. More files. Surveillance photos, notes from a federal agent, mentions of cartel names, a name circled in red. Delton Shaw. Tyler's blood went cold. He wasn't her lawyer, he whispered. He was her handler. Suddenly a shadow passed over the doorway. Both men froze. Footsteps. Not one set, two, maybe three. Then a voice, low, male, angry. They're already inside. Tyler clutched the file. Malik killed the light on the camera. They barely had time to duck behind a stack of crates before the unit door began to lift again, and a black-gloved hand reached in. The man with the burned hand, the metal door of Unit 117 rattled as someone outside pulled it higher, inch by inch. Tyler's breath caught in his throat. He pressed his back harder into the crates, clutching the folder and black box against his chest like a life jacket. Malik crouched beside him, camera off, hand trembling slightly. They exchanged a look. No words, just raw, primal fear. Then the light from outside poured in, and two figures stepped inside. Both men wore black suits, tactical gloves, earpieces, but one stood out. His right hand was wrapped in gauze, the fingertips singed and raw. Even from behind the crates, Tyler recognized the posture. That was the man from the alley, the one who'd pulled a knife. Burn hand, stepped forward, eyes scanning the room like a hawk. "Trunk's been opened," he said, voice rough. "They were here." The other man walked the perimeter, checking the corners. "They couldn't have gone far. Unit was locked. Maybe we spooked them." Burnham knelt by the open trunk. He shoved the lining aside and swore, "The files are gone." Now his voice turned colder. "We don't leave until we find them." Tyler's heart pounded so loudly he was sure they'd hear it. One wrong breath, one creak from Malik's shoes, and they'd be dead. Malik leaned closer and whispered, barely audible, "Back exit." Tyler nodded, eyes darting to the emergency door at the far end of the row, 20 feet beyond the storage unit. But it was a gamble. If they ran, they'd be seen. If they stayed, they'd be found. Malik lifted the camera again, hands steady now, filming the men quietly, capturing their faces, their voices. Then something shifted. A gust of wind slammed another nearby unit door. Both men turned, guns drawn. It was all the distraction they'd get. Tyler grabbed Malik's wrist and sprinted. They bolted from the unit, past the next row, down the narrow lane toward the emergency door. Burnham shouted, "There!" Footsteps thundered behind them. The door loomed. Tyler threw himself against the push bar, slammed into the alley beyond. Malik followed, ducking as a bullet cracked the air behind them. Then they ran, blindly, through back streets, over chain-link fences, past a barking dog that lunged from behind a gate. Only when they reached a graffiti-stained parking garage 2 blocks down did they stop, panting and shaking. Tyler collapsed against the concrete wall, hands still clutching the folder and locked black box. Malik slid down beside him. "What the hell was that?" "I don't know," Tyler gasped. "But we're in deep." Malik checked the footage. "Got their faces, their voices, and that guy, the one with the burned hand, that's the same freak who chased you before?" "Yeah." Tyler nodded. "Same walk, same eyes." "Then this goes deeper than just Clara's will." Tyler opened the folder again, flipping through the documents as sweat dripped down his temple. Photos, newspaper clippings, a note from Clara Tyler. "If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. They'll lie and tell you I died peacefully. That's not true. I knew this day would come, and I chose you because you were the only one who still had nothing to lose. Protect this file. Inside the black box is the truth they killed for, and the name of the person who destroyed my real life." Malik leaned over. "The box, what's in it?" "I don't know," Tyler said. "It needs a fingerprint to unlock." "Clara's?" "Maybe." Malik looked at him. "You ever think maybe she's not actually dead?" Tyler's blood turned cold. "Say that again." "I mean," Malik said, standing to pace, "witness protection, cartel enemies, a federal handler posing as a lawyer. This smells like a fake death. Maybe Clara faked it to protect herself or to finish something. But the funeral, the casket, closed casket, right?" Tyler paused. "Yeah. They said the body was in poor condition. No one saw her face." Malik stared at him. "Dude, what if she knew they were closing in, and this was her way of passing the torch?" Tyler looked down at the black box. The blinking red light seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. "What if what's inside this isn't just a secret?" he said slowly. "What if it's evidence?" They needed answers, and Tyler knew exactly where to start. 2 hours later, they stood in front of Lara Ruiz, Clara's private housekeeper of nearly a decade. She was in her 50s, warm but guarded, and had refused to speak to Tyler at the funeral. But now, as he held up the folder, her expression shifted. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered, eyes darting around her narrow apartment. "We need your help," Tyler said. "Did you know Clara was in witness protection?" Lara hesitated, then closed the door behind them. "She told me once," she said quietly, "many years ago, only after I found a gun under her pillow." Malik's eyebrows rose. "Did she say why?" "She was supposed to testify against a man in Mexico, a banker who cleaned money for the cartels, but the trial collapsed. He walked free. His name? Tyler asked. Lara bit her lip. Victor Laredo. Tyler froze. That name had been circled. In one of the documents, Clara said if he ever found her, he wouldn't kill her fast. He'd make it look like a natural death, peaceful, quiet. Tyler sat down slowly. What if that's what happened? He said. What if she didn't? Fake her death, but someone helped make it look like she just faded away? Malik opened the folder again, searching. There it was, Victor Laredo, suspected of laundering over $200 million, escaped prosecution after a key witness withdrew. The witness? Clara Linwood. Lara's hands shook. That black box, Clara kept it in the safe, always locked. She said if anything ever happened, it would prove what the government wouldn't. We need to open it, Tyler said. Then you'll need Clara's fingerprint. Lara looked around, then walked to a small wooden chest. She opened it and took out a small velvet box. Inside was Clara's favorite ring and something else. A sealed plastic sleeve with a preserved fingerprint pad. I found it in her study, Lara whispered. Didn't know what it was until now. Malik looked at Tyler. This could work. Back at the garage, they set the black box on the hood of Malik's car. Tyler took a deep breath. He opened the fingerprint sleeve, carefully pressed the preserved print against the scanner. The red light blinked, then turned green. The box clicked open. Inside, foam padding surrounded a single flash drive. And a note. If this is opened, it means my truth is finally free. What's on this drive will destroy everything they've built, but once it's seen, you can't unsee it. Clara Tyler took the drive, inserted it into Malik's laptop. A folder opened. Inside, videos, documents, audio files. One video auto-played. It was Clara, alive, hair tied back, face pale, but voice steady. My name is Clara Linwood. I was born Clara Ruiz under the name Maria Laredo. Victor Laredo is my brother. I ran because I discovered what he did, who he killed, the girls he trafficked, the children who vanished. The government protected him because he paid the right people. But now I have the names, the accounts, the offshore trails. And if you're watching this, someone has decided to silence me. Don't let them succeed. Release everything. Tyler's jaw dropped. Clara was Laredo's sister. She'd been running from her own blood. Malik stood frozen. Bro, this could bring down a government. Tyler nodded slowly. This is why they're hunting us. Suddenly, crash! The back window of the car exploded. A bullet tore through the air and lodged in the seat between them. Malik ducked, yanking Tyler down. Across the street, Byrne Hand stepped out of a black SUV, gun raised. Behind him, two more men and Mr. Delton Shaw, still smiling. The chase through fire and lies. The glass shattered in slow motion. Tyler didn't remember hitting the pavement. Just the sound of Malik yelling and the feel of warm blood dripping down his cheek. He rolled under the car, dragging the laptop. And Vlash drove with him. More gunshots cracked the concrete. One hit the trunk, another sliced through the side mirror. Malik screamed, "They found us! Run!" Tyler didn't think, he just moved. He crawled out from the passenger side, using the car for cover. Across the street, Byrne Hand was advancing fast, gun raised, like he wasn't worried about being seen. They were in a forgotten part of the city. No witnesses, no time. Malik popped up behind a dumpster and shouted, "Go!" Tyler bolted toward the alley, gripping the laptop tight. His legs burned, lungs heaving. Behind him, tires screeched. The SUV had turned the corner. Shaw was still inside, watching, amused, like this was some twisted game. Tyler turned sharply, hurdled a trash bin, and ducked into a side alley just as bullets tore into the bricks where his head had been a second before. Malik followed, camera still strapped to his chest. "They're trying to kill us over this thing. They already killed Clara," Tyler growled. "They'll kill us too." The alley opened into a train yard, miles of rusted steel, graffitied cars and flickering lights. Malik grabbed Tyler's arm. "Split up! They can't follow both." "I'm not leaving you. Tyler, if they get that drive, everything." "Clara risked dies? You said it yourself. This is bigger than money, bigger than her will." Tyler hesitated. His body screamed to stay. But Malik was right. He slipped the flash drive from the laptop, shoved it in his sock, and handed the decoy laptop to Malik. "Here, take this. Let them chase the wrong trail." Malik nodded. "Stay alive, man." Tyler bolted into the rail yard. Malik ran the other way. Within seconds, headlights swept the alleys. Burnhand's voice echoed behind them. "Split up! Get them both!" Tyler ducked between two freight cars, heart pounding. He'd grown up running from debt collectors, skipping rent, hiding in library basements when he couldn't afford heat. But this was war. As he ran, flashbacks of Clara's voice haunted him. "They'll make you think you're crazy. They'll twist your truth until you don't know who you are anymore." He wouldn't let that happen. Not to Clara, not to himself. 10 hours later, Tyler was shivering in the corner of an abandoned bus station bathroom. His phone was gone. His body ached. The world had tilted sideways. He stared at the flash drive, clenched in his hand. He didn't even know who to trust anymore. No police, no lawyers, no government. He needed someone outside the system. Someone with a voice. Then it hit him. Ember Lane. She was a freelance journalist, young, bold, known for breaking stories the networks were too scared to touch. Clara had once mentioned her by name, said she wrote like someone who'd seen hell, and wasn't scared of going back. Tyler waited until morning, then pawned his watch for a burner phone, found Ember's email, sent a message. Subject: "I know why Clara Linwood died." Proof attached. Attachment: 3-second clip from Clara's final confession. He didn't expect a reply. He got one in 6 minutes. "Where are you?" "You're in danger. I believe you. Meet me at 3 p.m. Bridge Underpass, 5th and Marlow. Burn the phone after." Tyler stared at the message, then at the flame from the trash barrel nearby. He tossed the phone in. At 3 p.m. sharp, Ember Lane stepped out of a rusted red van, worn jeans, combat boots, hair like wildfire, eyes like knives. "You're Tyler, right?" she said. "You believe—" "Me?" he asked. "I saw Clara's original file years ago, before it vanished. I always knew her death didn't feel right." Tyler handed her the flash drive. "I need this out," he said. "Public, viral, before they erase me too." Ember plugged it into her tablet and scanned the files. Her eyes widened. My God, she named names. She has audio of cabinet members, cartel partners, secret money trails, even photos. Tyler nodded. She wanted to take them all down. "She can," Ember said, "but this isn't just journalism anymore, it's survival." Suddenly a sharp sound behind them, footsteps, then a voice. "I hoped you'd bring it to someone." Tyler spun. Delton Shaw. No suit this time, just a leather jacket and a silenced pistol in his hand. "You're persistent," he said. "That's admirable, but it ends now." Ember stepped back, fingers twitching near her bag. "I'll make this easy," Shaw said. "Hand over the drive. Walk away. No more threats. You'll even get Clara's real inheritance. She left it for you." "In gold." Tyler's stomach twisted. "You're lying." Shaw smiled. "Am I?" "She hid it in Zurich, not in her will. Outside of it, she was testing you. But now, this whole hero act, it's gone too far." He raised the gun, and then Malik stepped out from the shadows, camera rolling. "Smile for the world, asshole." Shaw blinked. Too late. The click of a drone above. The whir of another camera to the left. Ember grinned. "We were live-streaming the entire conversation." Shaw's face paled, but then his smile returned. "You think exposure stops people like me?" he said calmly. "That's adorable." He tossed something to the ground, a smoke canister, the alley filled with choking gray. Gunshots rang out, pop, pop, pop. Tyler grabbed Ember's hand. Run! They staggered toward the van, blinded, coughing. Malik dove into the passenger seat. Tyler gunned the engine. Tires screamed. Shaw's figure vanished in the smoke behind them. They didn't stop driving for 20 minutes. When they did, Ember turned. To them, face pale. You just declared war on people who don't lose. Tyler's hands shook. Let's make this a war worth losing sleep over. 2 days later, the story hit the world. Clara's video, the files, the voice recordings. Ember released it all through an international decentralized network of journalists. Millions of people watched. Hashtags exploded. Protests broke out in cities. Victor Laredo's face was on every screen. Interpol issued a warrant. Government leaders scrambled to deny involvement. Tyler's name was buried for safety. Ember protected him. But it didn't matter. Someone still found him. He woke up in a motel with a gun to his head. Burnhand, bruised, bleeding, but alive. I should have killed you the first time, he hissed. Tyler stared into the man's eyes. Then do it, he whispered, because I'm done running. Burnhand's hand trembled, and then a single shot echoed, but not from Burnhand's gun. The man slumped forward, dead. Behind him, Clara, alive. The woman who wouldn't die. For a full 10 seconds, Tyler couldn't move. He couldn't speak. Burnhand's blood was soaking into the motel carpet. His lifeless body slumped across the cheap bed, and standing behind him, steady, unblinking, with the same hard eyes from the wedding photo, was Clara, alive. You died, Tyler choked. I saw the body. I buried you. Clara didn't flinch. That wasn't me. She stepped over Burnhand's corpse like she was stepping over a puddle. Her silver hair was tied tight, her face leaner, colder. She wore a black coat, her hands gloved. Behind her, the door clicked shut. I had no choice, she said, voice low. They would have killed you if I hadn't disappeared. Tyler staggered back. His whole body buzzed, blood roaring in his ears. You faked your death? I had to. His fists clenched. I mourned you. I thought they murdered you. Clara's face cracked for the first time. They would have. If they'd caught me, I barely made it out. But the moment I vanished, they came for you instead. Tyler's voice shook with rage. You left me in a lion's den. I left you with enough to burn them down, she snapped. And you did. You and Ember. That upload. That was the shot they never saw coming. Tyler dropped into the motel chair, head in his hands. What the hell is happening? She sat on the edge of the bed next to Burnhand's still body. Her voice dropped. You have no idea how deep this goes. Tyler looked up, tears mixing with disbelief. Then start talking, because either I'm going crazy or you are. Clara nodded once, and the truth began unraveling like barbed wire. 10 years ago, Clara Linwood was a federal contractor deep inside the government's financial monitoring arm. Her job was to trace cartel-linked money that filtered through supposedly clean American institutions. I started noticing discrepancies, she said. Money being rerouted into off-book defense contracts. Shell companies created overnight. Every trail led back to Victor Laredo and people like him. But when I raised alarms, they turned on you, Tyler finished. No, worse, Clara said. They recruited me. She looked away. They offered me $10 million. My own agency told me to look the other way. Retire gracefully, they said. You're already wealthy. Tyler stared. You didn't take it? I did, she whispered. Silence dropped like thunder. I was tired, grieving. My son had died. My husband was gone. I told myself the world was too broken to fix. Tyler swallowed hard. What changed? Clara turned her eyes toward him, brimming with something that looked dangerously close to guilt. You, she said. He blinked. Me? I was watching you, Tyler. After I read your letters, your applications, how hard you worked, even when everything was against you. You reminded me of the people I betrayed, the kind I'd stopped believing in. She reached into her coat, pulled out a thick envelope. Inside were dozens of old scholarship essays, his essays. I lied in my will. The marriage was more than a trick. I wanted you close. I wanted you to wake me up again. Tyler's throat tightened. You used me. I saved you. She gestured to Burn Hand. This man was in my house the night I faked my death. He was sent to kill me. I turned the tables, but I knew I couldn't beat them alone, so I left the clues for you to follow. Tyler stared at the envelope, the essays, her eyes. Everything in him wanted to scream, to hate her, but another part, the deeper, wounded, fighting part, saw the brokenness behind her strength. You could have told me. They would have killed you. A sudden noise, a phone buzzing on the floor. Tyler picked it up. Malik's burner number. Tyler answered. Malik, turn on the news, he panted. Now! They switched on the motel's ancient TV. A red banner flashed. Shocking development. Ember Lane missing after cartel leak. Feared dead. Tyler's body went ice cold. The anchor continued. Investigative journalist Ember Lane, known for publishing whistleblower evidence against international criminal networks, was reported missing late last night. Sources say her van was found, abandoned outside Chicago with blood inside. No body has been found. Tyler's voice cracked. No, she can't be gone. Clara's jaw tightened. They're retaliating. They killed her. They want you to think that. They need you afraid. They know the public's attention is already slipping. The leaks went viral, but now people are distracted. They just need the story to die out. Tyler gripped the TV's edge, tears threatening. She believed in me. She risked everything. We were going to finish this. Clara's eyes narrowed. Then we will. Tyler turned to her, wild-eyed. How? They control everything. Even with the data out there, they're silencing people one by one. Not if we give them something they can't bury. She opened a black case from her bag. Inside, a set of encrypted hard drives, a voice recorder, and a tiny key with the letters ZCB engraved on it. What is this? He asked. The Zurich Vault, she said. My backup copy. The full version. Everything I ever gathered, documents, confessions, real-time surveillance, names of judges, lobbyists, senators, CEOs, even the man who signs off the assassinations. Tyler's. A breath caught. We release this, she said, and the whole system catches fire. He stared at her. You had this the whole time? I needed to see if you were ready to finish it, because once it's out, you're not just a kid with a dead wife anymore. You're the enemy of people who erase entire cities for profit. He looked down at the key, then at the photo still in his wallet of him and Clara taken 2 weeks before she died. I'm in, he whispered. They booked tickets under fake names. By morning, they were on a red-eye to Switzerland. Tyler stared out the window, fingers trembling. In the seat beside him, Clara held his hand, quiet, firm. He whispered, Do you think Ember could still be alive? I don't know, Clara said softly. But if she is, this will bring her back. Zurich. 2 days later, the city looked untouched by corruption. Clean streets, quiet banks, snow-dusted buildings, but Clara moved through it like a hunted wolf. They entered a discreet office building with no sign, no receptionist, just a metal door. With a retina scanner, Clara leaned forward. The door beeped inside, an underground vault. She used the key. The drawer slid open. Tyler stared at the contents, stacked hard drives, sealed envelopes, a red folder labeled, Final Leverage, Release If I Die. He picked it up, then froze. His name was on the envelope. Clara, what is this? She stepped back. Her eyes glistened. It's your protection and your weapon. And then from behind them, the sound of a safety clicking. Tyler spun. Victor Laredo stood in the vault doorway. Gun aimed, suit perfect, face calm. Clara turned white. No, how did you? Victor smiled. Did you really think I'd let you win? Tyler stepped in front of Clara. Victor cocked the gun. "You ruined everything, boy. I gave her a way out. I gave you a way out. But you chose to burn the whole kingdom," Tyler whispered. "Then bury us in the ashes." Victor aimed. Tyler closed his eyes. A gunshot exploded, but Tyler felt nothing. He opened his eyes. Victor was on the ground, bleeding. Behind him, Ember Lane, alive, bloodied, burned, but standing, holding a gun. "Miss me," she rasped. "Closure. The fire we lit." The gun dropped from Ember's shaking hand as Victor Laredo collapsed in a slow, stunned heap. His blood spilled across the polished vault floor, pooling at Clara's feet. Tyler couldn't breathe. For a full minute nobody moved. Ember was alive, scarred, barely upright, clothes torn and stained with dried blood, but alive. She leaned against the vault doorframe, her eyes locked on Clara. "I followed you here," Ember rasped. "You left a trail, on purpose." Clara nodded slowly. "Yes. I wanted them to think I'd underestimated them. I wanted them to follow us." Ember's voice cracked. "They didn't follow. They caught me." Tyler stepped forward. How did you get away?" She looked at him, eyes dark, haunted. "I didn't, not really. They locked me in a meat freezer in South Chicago. I waited for hours. Then someone cut the power, just for 5 minutes, long enough for me to crawl out. I don't know who helped me, but I know why they did." She pointed to the red envelope in Tyler's hand. That's what he came here for." Victor Laredo coughed, blood bubbling from his mouth. "I was going to end it clean," he muttered. "Delete the data, bury you both. No noise, but you just couldn't let go." Clara knelt beside him, cold fury in her eyes. "You built your empire by silencing the innocent. But now the whole world will hear their screams." He tried to laugh. It came out wet. "It won't change anything." She leaned close. "No, but it'll destroy you." Victor's eyes rolled back. He died choking on his own blood. The Zurich vault fell silent. Clara opened the red folder. Final leverage. Inside, a final password, a list of real-time offshore wire transfers tied to arms dealers, and 5 names. 5 names that would change everything. They called themselves the Chain. Clara whispered. 5 men, 5 positions of power, 1 purpose, control. Ember moved to her side, steadying herself on the wall. "You have them all?" "Yes," Clara said. "And now so do you." She turned to Tyler and pressed the documents into his hands. "You were never just a distraction. You were my redemption. Finish this." Tyler stared down at the names. One jumped out. Senator Glenn Rutherford, the same man who'd given a speech the day Clara died. The one who offered condolences to Tyler at the funeral. He was in on it. Tyler's knuckles whitened. "Let's expose them." They went underground. 3 countries in 7 days. By the time they reached Iceland, Ember limping, Clara wearing a scarf to hide her face, the media storm had already begun. Ember released a 3-minute encrypted video to every major outlet. In it, she spoke calmly, showing screenshots, documents, names. She mentioned Clara Linwood, the marriage, the betrayal, the blood, and then she uploaded the full leak, all of it, from a server that couldn't be traced. Through multiple chains, untouchable, the world cracked open. In New York, Senator Glenn Rutherford resigned in disgrace before his arrest. In Mexico City, 3 cartel leaders disappeared within 48 hours. Some say by suicide, others by CIA black. Ops in Geneva, frozen bank accounts exposed more than $2.6 billion in illegal arms funds. And on every social media platform, one name trended higher than them all: Tyler Kane. A month later, they were in a small mountain cabin Clara owned in Norway, remote, safe. Snow dusted the ground outside, and a small fire crackled inside. Ember was writing again, her fingers still trembling when she typed, but the words came freely now. Her piece was titled "The Woman Who Wouldn't Die." Across the room, Clara sat quietly, watching the fire. Tyler approached her with 2 mugs of tea. She smiled faintly. "You remind me of my son." Tyler looked away. "I'm not him." "No, but you are the man he would have become." A silence passed between them. "Do you regret it?" he asked. She took a sip, then said softly, "Only that I didn't find the courage sooner." He hesitated. "What happens now?" She set down her mug. "You both keep living, keep writing, keep telling the truth." "And me?" She smiled faintly. "I'm going to disappear again, this time for good, but this time the world knows why." Tyler felt something sharp lodge in his throat. "I wish we had more time." Clara stood and hugged him, gentle, brief, firm. "We had enough." She looked at Ember and gave a small, respectful nod. Then she left. No goodbye, no trail, just vanished into the white Norwegian snow. A year later, Tyler sat at a lectern in front of an audience of 300 college students. His hair was longer. He wore a plain black suit. Behind him, a screen showed an image of Clara Linwood, the only photo left of her that remained public. "This," he said, voice steady, "is how one woman changed the course of 5 nations." He paused. "But she didn't do it with guns, or power, or even money. She did it by making one impossible choice, to start over, to tell the truth, to take one last risk." He looked out at the young faces watching him, and when she couldn't do it alone, she passed the torch. The audience was still, breathless. He finished. "Sometimes the most broken people are the only ones brave enough to rebuild the world." Outside the auditorium, Ember waited with their dog, a golden retriever named Shadow. Tyler stepped into the autumn light and smiled. "You ready to go?" She nodded. "You were amazing in there." He took her hand. "I just told the truth." They walked together through the campus, past students laughing, past leaves falling, past all the ghosts that used to chase them. They didn't run anymore. They walked. Free. Final line. Some people inherit money, some inherit pain. Tyler Kane inherited a war and turned it into something the world could never silence again. The end.